Hi, I'm Bob the Hippie Gardener, and today we're going to talk about planting some herbs for springtime. And what we're going to do is we're going to plant some basil, we're going to plant some thyme and rosemary, and a little bit of parsley. So these are things that you use to season your cooking with. Basil is great in a lot of different Italian dishes and spaghetti and things like that. So we're going to start with that. One thing about basil is there's a whole bunch of different varieties and flavors. So I have some here that I'll show you. This one is called cinnamon basil. And we have lime basil, and it does kind of smell and taste a little bit like lime when you do it. And we have lemon basil, and it does taste like lemon. Then we have this, one of my favorites for cooking especially, is Thai sweet basil. That's good stuff. We have a kind that I got as free seed from Baker Seeds called a blue spice basil. And last but not least, there's two more, sorry. There's African Newnham basil, and I have grown this before and I couldn't find a dish to put it in, but I'm going to try it again this year to see if that flavor goes with anything. And the last one's something called holy basil. And this one's from Pine Tree Garden Seeds. So let's start here. Let's start with the cinnamon basil here. And basil, you don't need to plant very deep at all. So what you want to do is just like make a little dent somewhere, throw a few seeds on there, and then put a little bit of covering on top. Not very much. And the basil seeds are kind of small. I'm going to plant several of them. And I'm going to plant 2 cells of each because basil, you don't need that much of any plant because it grows all season long, and if you keep picking it, it's going to keep growing. So got those on there, and I want to make sure that I label these so that I know what's what later. So I've got some labels made up here. And so the cinnamon basil is going to be here. And then we're going to do some Thai sweet basil. Just dropping them right on top of the soil at this point. And marking them. They all look the same once they come up, so you better mark them now or you won't be able to tell what's what. And I've got some lime basil. We'll try that. And then we'll try some blue spice basil. And then some lemon basil. And some African basil. It's actually called African Newnham basil. I don't know what that's named after, but and last but not least is some holy basil. And basil seeds, as you can see, are very, very small. And so basic rule of thumb is that you want to plant the plant depth of most plants is about 2 to 4 times the width of the seed. So that would mean that you won't need much for these, but I am going to cover them so they stay wet with just a little tiny bit of wet soil. So I'm just going to take a little dab, put it right on top. Not much at all. It'll push up through that. And that's really all you need to do. These will come up probably in about a week, I would guess, depending upon your temperature in your growing room. Another herb we want to plant is thyme. Thyme you can use in just a lot of places in cooking, and it's a very common plant. And the seeds are even smaller. Those are tiny seeds right there. And with thyme, the same thing, the seeds are so small that you really don't need much to go on top of them. Just something to keep them moist, some kind of covering like that. And the last one we're going to plant today for herbs actually is rosemary. Thyme and some of the other herbs like oregano and stuff, and some of the other herbs are more than an annual. They'll grow multiple years, but I have not had a lot of luck with overwintering rosemary. The frost seems to get it almost every year. Once in a while, it'll make it through, but not very often. So I usually plant it every year. You can't really have too much rosemary, you know. Again, with these small seeds, you just need to put a little bit of covering on them, not much at all. And that's how you plant some herbs for early spring. Be sure to like and subscribe, please. We're going to have some more videos to update here for some shorts on some of the plants that we have planted previously in a few moments. So be sure to like and subscribe so you catch those too.